these three guys walk into a bar, you see, and the barman's there, and they all kind of want cocktails and something a bit interesting. They don't want the usual kind of Prosecco and stuff. So the barman says, I've got a great idea. He says, anyone fancy a Campari? You see? And he says, yeah, I quite fancy a Campari. One of them says, he says, we got a Campari.
So that's a red drink there that you're pouring
into
the bucket.
There's a red drink. That's the red Campari. That's what a Campari looks like.
Just for the audio people, you've got a blue, red, and green drink in different cups, and you've got like a wine cooler bucket.
Yes, a wine, just a kind of a champagne bucket, and three different drinks in three different cups.
And that's empty. Your bucket.
And we've also got. There's the bucket, and we've also got here a Long Island iced tea. You see?
Oh yeah, blue.
A Long Island iced tea. So we've got a Long Island iced tea, we've got a Campari, and we've got an absinthe.
Absinthe.
There it is. Absinthe. Whatever you say, homie.
Depends how much you drink of it, I think.
Yeah. And so this barman says, I can definitely recommend the absinthe. So he tips the absinthe into the champagne bucket like that, and he puts the cup down. And the other guy says, well, I quite fancy the thought, he said, of that Long Island iced tea. He says, you know what, I've got a great idea. He says, since there are three of you, I don't want any of you to miss out on this. So he pours the Long Island iced tea into the absinthe, you see?
So the blue one's gone
like
in
that.
there. The blue one's gone.
And that's gone in there as well. So he's poured them both in. And then the other guy says, well, he says, what about me? He says, they're going to have the experience of enjoying the Long Island iced tea and the absinthe. But what about my Campari? He says, we'll tip your Campari in as well. What the hell? Tip your Campari in, and we'll mix all the drinks around. So he mixes all the drinks around in there like that, mixes them all around. And he says, you're at least all going to enjoy the same taste of a mixture of all three. And the one guy says, that's all right, he says, but when I came in here, he said, I wanted a Long Island iced tea. And the barman says, don't worry, he says, I'm just going like this, you see, and just scoop out the Long Island iced tea. There it is.
There's
right
the blue
there.
drink. He's just scooped it out of the bucket.
And the blue drink comes back out, and the other guy says, well, if he's going to have his Long Island iced tea, he says, my Campari. Whoa. So he goes in and he scoops out. There it is. the Campari.
There goes the red drink.
There?
Yeah.
There it is. The red drink comes out. And then the other guy says, well, if you're all going to have your drinks, he says, what about my absinthe or absinthe? He says, well, and he tips out the last. There it is. Right there. And he tips out the absinthe and he gives it to the last guy. And they all think, oh, there's something in the bucket. But there never is nothing in the bucket. Oh, yes. That's the kind of barman I like. Gives you a choice. You know what I'm saying?
And you should never mix those drinks. That's the moral of the story.
Absolutely, really bad idea.
Bad idea. Never mix your green, blue, and reds.